Octopus don't have one brain, they have 9.
Okay,
each arm basically has a mind.
I'm done. No. We about to react to a Casual Geographic video, and I'm pretty sure it's about octopuses, and I'm not gonna lie. First it was spiders, now I hate octopuses with a passion, bro. Those probably the things I hate the most, actually, over spiders. So we're gonna see what it's looking like, you know what I'm saying? He said that they're Earth's oldest genius. I don't know what that means. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and that like button, and join the scrolling down below in the description. Let's get to it. Alright, y'all, this is Casual Geographic. Why it sucks to be Earth's oldest genius. I don't know what that means, but let's get to it, man.
No friends, no family, no wife, no life, underlooked, you're chronically cooked, abject, inept, disrespect, and often neglect.
Those was bars. Those was bars. I had to say it.
Nature sure did consummate their misery. The octopus is a high-functioning, overachieving tentacle slug. As a mollusk, they have a family reunion more confusing than Nick Cannon's, where they have everything from a venomous anime fighter jet to
random Nick Cannon. Random Nick Cannon. Hey, yeah.
Which means the octopus is.
What? Why she smack it though? Why'd I replicate what she did? But that's crazy. Don't smack. Don't do that again.
Basically an overqualified snail that lost its shell and had to overcompensate. Now they do have a lot going for them. They wouldn't have lasted 300 million years of reverse plot armor otherwise. But call it cosmic calamari, the way they get absolutely deep fried by fate. They're built like malicious compliance. Like the boss's brat demanded an octopus and the developer had no choice and did so out of spite. You're gonna learn that the animal sans a skeleton got entirely T-boned by nature. It all starts when they're born. Octopus might just have the worst predator spread of any animal. Anything from cod, sharks, dolphins, stingrays, seals, sea lions, sea birds, sea otters, sea stars, eels, other octopus, and especially humans will all put an octopus out of order in the name of protein. Dolphins will even tag along stingray hunts to allow the ray's electroreception to lead it to a hiding octopus.
That's insane.
Mind you, stingrays are like 2D sharks, and them and dolphins pulling up is like if the Reds and Blues of Los Angeles took the day off to go boo the Clippers. But dolphins don't need help humping an octopus, as dolphins have been observed tenderizing the underwater 8-foots by repeatedly slamming them. Sea lions got the same playbook, as they'll swim to the surface and also maul the mollusk, serving Suplex City so hard it wakes the ghost of Hulk Hogan. It's how animals with no
he hit him with an RKO.
Forks or knives can tear it into bite-sized chunks. But it also means octopus might as well be born with a shape before use label. But on the surface, it can look like an interspecies drive-by. Those are far from the only things that violate octopi. Sea otters are like waterproof wolverines that'll rip into octopus like candy. In some spots, they get targeted by the scissor jaws of the bobbit worm, a worm literally named after a woman who demembered her husband with a knife. Moray eel are a common octopus, and they even have a second set of jaws in its throat to keep struggling prey in its custody, which seems like a suspiciously specific middle finger to a certain boneless entree. Even the things that seem like an easy lick can game over an octopus. In real life, Squidward would have had Mr. Krabs meeting Miss Puff's husband first chance he got. Crabs are like the potato chips of nature, and one-on-one, an octopus isn't losing that matchup unless they happen to get cheap shot by forces beyond them. But that's for one crab.
You record? I didn't get this video.
Overwhelm and eviscerate the octopus, who manages to suffer from crabs while only being screwed by fate. They have a similar.
You know what? I said I hated octopus at the start of the video. I kind of feel bad now. It's only 2 minutes in, and I really feel bad for these guys. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. That's
the shit of getting jumped by leather jackets.
He was getting I don't mean a bite gang.
I mean literal fish eating it alive. Some octopus will try their luck against an unassuming shrimp until they get served an appetite suppressant in the form of a bullet fist. It's so bad, it's confirmed octopus have night terrors about being eaten, with some filmed going from deep sleep to suddenly thrashing and inking themselves.
Bro,
and if PTSD ain't bad enough, octopus can OD on that same ink. I was not kidding about malicious design. Imagine your biggest hater being your own creator, because the octopus seems to be at war with its own anatomy. Let's count the ways. Octopus will use ink as a smokescreen to escape, but if they can escape their own bomb, they'll suffocate and meet Nemo's mom. Self-toxic ink is just where it starts. Octopus got no bones, no armor, no nails, just a massive chewy gelatinous protein. They do have a powerful bird-like beak.
I'm starting to feel bad for these guys.
Small and a hurt box the size of Madison Square Garden is deplorable design, and their build means virtually any shot you take is a headshot. Another thing is, octopus have 3 hearts, 1 central and 2 branchial hearts to pump blood to the gills, because apparently 300 million years wasn't enough time to make one cell functioning. And while that's kind of a joke, what isn't is the fact that them swimming fast takes so much energy, the systemic central heart literally stops beating. They count on cardiac arrest to get to where they want to go. Meaning an octopus can be swimming for its life, even at maximum effort. Their best attempts are half-hearted. Octopus proved that a lot of us had evolution wrong. It's not survival of the fittest. It's just barely being good enough to keep the wheel going. And if that doesn't prove it, their brain does. Not intelligence. I mean the literal.
Okay, let's be honest here. Y'all telling me octopus aren't aliens, bro? If there was any living thing out there that I would consider to be from a different planet, it would be octopuses, bro. Look at them. They got a fat head. They got 8 legs, 3 hearts.
Donut that has its esophagus.
Y'all be ignorant if you want to.
Octopus risk brain damage every time they eat, and they're always a piece of food too big or too sharp away from factory resetting their entire personality,
bro,
which is why they have the razor-sharp radula, the answer to a problem they never even asked for. That's not the only thing that can bring on cephalopod CTE. Since octopi can't thermoregulate, sudden changes in temperature can also cause significant brain damage for an animal that lives in the ocean. But remind me to get back to that.
That's not
but none of that can top the fact that nature gave octopus a built-in self-destruct button. Senescence is the process of deteriorating with age, the withering of functional characteristics in living organisms. Basically what kids think turning 30 is. It happens to everyone, but nature chipped Octopoda with a kill switch. It's no secret that making babies is the last thing an octopus will do, as the process seems to give both parties dementia, as they lose all sense of self-preservation. Symptoms of senescence include lack of feeding, skin around the eyes retreating, white lesions forming, and awkward, uncoordinated movements, almost like they have no purpose beyond this point. But some seem to actively crave the sweet release, since captive octopi have been seen trying to rush the process by banging into sides of their tank, tearing off pieces of their own skin, and even getting their tentacles tangled. And it all begins with these two guys. They're small, but they got big glands.
Life, though.
Those are optic glands. They're the double agents that lie dormant between the brain and optic lobe until they get active, usually around the same time the octopi do, and it's believed this triggers them to produce more steroids and boost cholesterol. Specifically, scientists saw more activity in the genes that produce neurotransmitters called catecholamines, along with steroids that help metabolize cholesterol. What does that all mean to you? Well, catecholamines are hormones like your epinephrine and dopamine, basically the fuel to your fight or flight, and in octopus, their job is to redirect energy away from eating and, keeping themselves alive and put it all into raising their own. Especially since that same optic gland will also secrete stuff to turn off digestion, which is why they starve to death. Not only that, but neuropeptides are what causes appetite and hunger, and they get turned off too. Yeah, they put the op in optic. It's a gland, but that optic got a lot of nerve. Because in 1977 in Brandeis University, psychologist Jerome Wodinsky removed the optic gland from a mother 2 spot, and the outcome was they abandoned their eggs, continued feeding, and lived longer. It's literal predetermined self-destruction, and it's the worst kind. The Australian anti-kindness has a similar fate, since males will mate themselves to death, and an increase of steroid hormones in the blood is how the kamikazes can go all out. Those same steroids also nerf the immune system and eventually cause a total body shutdown as they get poisoned by their own supply. But at least when that happens,
sometimes you just gotta think like, yo, thank God I am not the octopus, because no shade octopus, I don't like y'all, but that's a horrible life to have, bro. Mind you, we're only 6 minutes in the video. There's 10 more minutes of this. This is crazy.
With as many females as possible. The octopus is very much one and done, and that's why it's survival of just being good enough. You can end up lobotomized by your own dental. As long as it happens after you breed, that's strictly a you problem. And evolution can't save you from one of the most toxic relationships underwater as long as it ends with children. Yes, how do they even anglerfish? First of all, they barely tolerate each other. Lady octopus will respond to male harassment by chucking shells like it's Mario Kart. Just when the male thinks he's in the lead, there's a blue shell for his blue balls. It doesn't get much better if Squidward succeeds, since many males are dwarfed by their mates and run the very real risk of being cannibalized, leading to some very questionable mating methods. The blue-lined octopus will inject his mate with a venom while on top, a venom called tetrodotoxin, arguably the most potent neurotoxin out there. It obviously doesn't kill her, but it does make the female angry enough to yeet the male off her back once she's functional again. That's why male octopus have a venom gland 3 times the size of a female.
We need to put octopus on a list. We need to put octopus on a list. I don't know if y'all understood what he was saying, but stay out the waters.
Because ducks have a coital curly fry to force the issue, while the octopus clearly listens to Rick Ross. There is a catch though. If the male doesn't envenomate her in the exact right spot, she can wake up early, and the best case is he gets some of his arms torn off. Of course, some, like the Argonaut, say screw it, literally, and just hand the female his baby arm and swim away. A physical invitation to go feel yourself. After mating, the male basically waits to buy tickets to a Tupac concert. They go AFK, just a catatonic state where they move like an NPC. Also, post-mating meaning males don't return to their dens. They don't even wait for death at home. They just circle the corner anticipating its arrival in the form of sickness, starvation, or getting turned out by a predator. The mother doesn't get off easier, since she gives up her entire existence the moment the eggs come out. She'll spend all day washing them with her siphon and guarding them, all while not going out to eat once. Mothers will eat their own arms before they leave them alone for a second, and that hunger strike can last years. One deep sea octopus brooded eggs for a total of 53 months. Just under 4.5 years. It was by far the longest brooding period of any animal, and she even turned down crabs offered to her by researchers. Like all octopus, once the eggs hatch, the babies swim to the surface and spend their early days drifting the current. And if motherhood doesn't murk her, the she-puss just waits for something like a pack of starfish to put her in her place. That place being past tense. It's the worst outcome of any mother, worse than cheetahs, hyenas, and even the sea louse. The payoff is all the kids she spawns. The giant Pacific octopus can have over 100,000 eggs, and some like the cyanea can exceed 500,000. With all these sentient grains of rice, about 1 or 2 will live long.
No wonder they get out of there after that. Nobody trying to raise 1 million kids.
Long enough to repeat the cycle. Because as far as evolution's concerned, that's enough. From egg to adult, the octopus's short life isn't a total show. It's a septic symphony. And the biggest insult is the wasted potential. The octopus got straight up cheated. Almost like someone knew there were a few changes from an obnoxiously overqualified Sigma slug seriously bending the natural order. Octopus don't have hands, but they do have arms, and they'll throw them, with reports of octopus suffocating threats like dolphins and sharks. Specifically, an octopus was caught shoving its arms down the gills of a pajama shark, nearly putting it to bed permanently. And speaking of sharks, that matchup isn't as one-sided as you think. In a Seattle aquarium, one octopus earned himself solitary confinement, and the reason was Stapp kept finding the bodies of dead, butchered dogfish sharks all over the tank floor until cameras caught the neighborhood octopus murking any sharks that were put in the tank with him. Octopus will square up with sea lions with everything they have, and even ship-sinking stellar sea lions can struggle with a vindictive hors d'oeuvre. Even the symbol of America can get it. There's at least one seagull with octopus in its obituary. Not to mention Neptune's hitman has enough awareness of human anatomy to attempt to play hangman. But the octopus's biggest flex is their shape-shifting. Octopus have the ability to change colors, despite being colorblind. It's said that their skin may be sensitive to hues, shadows, and colors around them, and can conform to their environment. Some, like this cyanea, can make hundreds of transformations in a day, but one octopus does this on steroids. The mimic octopus can not only cosplay as other animals, it'll purposely exploit their own fears. If a mimic's getting harassed by some punk-ass damselfish, it'll take the form of a venomous sea crate. And if the block's real hot with predators, the mimic mirrors the biggest threat in the area. A lionfish. But you can have all the tools in the world. It means nothing unless you know how to use them. And few things alive are as nice with the tools as the 8-armed handyman. The coconut octopus got its name because it'll appropriate the shells of the fruit as a travel-sized panic room, pretty much re-equipping the shell that time took away from them. Some will go incognito by using shells to hide in plain sight. They don't always use tools to avoid problems. Some, like the blanket octopus, invite them by stealing Portuguese man-of-war tentacles and practicing ocean open carry. And as predators, some have learned to drill holes in prey in the exact spot needed to neutralize them. They say octopus have the intelligence of a 3-year-old, yet man's moving like a pre-med major. And it's probably because octopus don't have one brain, they have 9. Each arm basically has a mind.
I'm done. No. They got 3 hearts, 9 brains, 8 legs. At what point are we going to acknowledge this is not from Earth? I said it once, I'll say it again. 3 hearts, 9 brains, 8 legs. What more do you need to see? They could change color.
Mind of its own, meaning 2/3 of its own cognition lies outside its own head, with over 2,000 suckers that all move independently. 8 arms that can independently learn more about the world around them. A cornucopia of consciousness, a borderline hive mind. Y'all forgot about that temperature problem, right? Well, octopus can edit their own RNA based on how hot or cold the water around them is. It's basically a built-in thermostat that protects them from breaking their brains. All that brain power is how a snail's uncle is smart enough to solve problems, and in some cases become one. Some octopus have learned not only when and where crabbers will show up, they'll time it just right to where they'll swipe the crab from their trap, disrespect Steve, his name's Steve's, entire livelihood, and vanish, leaving behind corpses. Octopus can also tell people apart, and sometimes they'll end up having beef with one in particular, and will squirt them and only them. Some don't even stop at people. Otto the octopus decided he didn't like an overhead light, so he climbed to the edge of his tank and shot water at it, causing the entire aquarium electrical system to go out, and he did this night after night, repeatedly, until folks caught on. So why am I telling you how smart a Second Amendment slug is?
Stop doing that.
It's because they could and should be smarter. Most high IQ creatures have two things in common. They're social and live in groups, and they live long. And sometimes those two things combine to form number 3. They're led by a grandmother. This means not only can they spend years and even decades learning, they can pass it down, building a generational database of knowledge. Octopus get none of that. Every octopus is born an orphan. It's like a video game with no save points. So every time an octopus passes, everything it learned along the way goes with it. So every octopus after it has to start from scratch. Which puts in perspective the insanity of what they accomplished in 2 years. And that's another thing. They only get a couple of years. The intelligence of a 3-year-old just to end their trial to life after 2. If octopus lived longer, lived in groups, and weren't literal deadbeat parents, I'm talking like the Batman kind, it could get scary. And that's why I say octopus got screwed. Change 1 or 2 things, the entire food chain might fall. Like imagine if octopus just did the turtle thing and just climbed onto a beach, dropped their eggs, and dipped. And it's not like octopus can't climb out of water. They can breathe through their skin for a short period, and they'll use this ability to take lives on land. So why not create them? Except the soft-bodied cephalopods would probably get put on a shirt before they got far. If only they had like a shell or something to protect them.
Please
it's
don't
a shame nature never came out with anything like that.
No, it's not.
Imagine if octopus worked together. Humboldt squid scare me for the specific fact that they kill in packs, and there has to be at least one human who was jumped, dragged to the abyss, and hate crime by the Antichrist calamari clan. But aside from violence, imagine what a group of like-minded octopi could do. They might mess around and start a renaissance. In fact, what if I told you it's already started? In 2016, in Jervis Bay off the coast of Australia, scientists found a
any single bad animal thing, anything with living creatures, it's in Australia, bro. So the one thing, shout out to my Australians, everybody else from Australia, shout out to y'all, man. Australia seems cool, but y'all got too much extra, I don't know, the spiders is big, you got things stinging you, poisonous, you know, kangaroos punching people out. I done seen Kangaroo Jack, I know he could box. And you got octopuses trying to take over the world. I'm done,
residents of I can't rock with Australia. Up to 15 of them, living on dens on top of scallop shells, doing everything from hanging out, communicating, to fighting, procreating, and even evicting particular offenders from their den. It's like an octopus suburb. It's a cephalopod community, and scientists named it Atlantis. And it's not the first. Octopuses was discovered in 2009, except Octopuses was founded around a huge human-made metal object. And no, they're not actual cities, it's just cute to call them that, but you gotta ask, what are they cooking? One can only pray they don't F around and invent capitalism. Because the last way octopus got screwed by nature isn't actually natural, but it's by humanity. 300 million years of character development just to end up in a glass box is brutal. And thanks to pretty privilege, good luck getting the public to care about their mental health the same way they do with cats and dogs, despite arguably being just as smart. And if an octopus can have nightmares and predator PTSD, safe to assume they suffer from being confined to a fishbowl, just like orcas. Except orcas are a lot louder about their displeasure. In fact, there's a really good chance octopus are fully capable of catching feelings and forming attachments. Remember that next time an influencer tries to mukbang one still alive. I guess what I'm trying to say is, octopus deserve way more credit than they get. They're really out of this world.
I know!
And maybe that's why the world tries so hard to remove them. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Drink water, hug your mother, buy my book, spare a thought for the old octopus. And I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Well, I'll tell you, I ain't never going to Octopuses.
Like Davy Jones.
That's terrifying. You telling me this? That's not the most scary thing y'all ever seen in your life?
So fake.
Look at this.
So some other aerobic team just came.
Brother, shout out Casual Geographic. Go let's put that sub one over there, man. Man, you not finna get, you almost had me with this propaganda, but no, I am not feeling sorry for octopus. One, they're not from here, okay? They're not from Earth. There's nothing y'all can say to convince me that the octopus are from Earth, cause look at them. You know what I'm saying? They got 8 legs, 9 brains, and 3 hearts. I don't know how much more evidence y'all need to see, but if you can't see it, open your eyes. And then they slime me. Like, why they slime me for? You underwater, you should be clean. The water should be cleaning you, but y'all still slime me. Y'all can change colors. Y'all got too many suction cups. You know what I'm saying? They can suck you right up, pause. Or maybe not.
What do you mean by that?
But regardless, man, I can't write octopus, man. They disgust me. I can't even eat calamari for that exact reason. They just disgust me. Just knowing that it was an octopus, or whoever, squid, whatever, they all disgust me. I can't. They got fat heads. I told y'all in the comments, when things got too many legs, I just start feeling uncomfortable. There's too many ways for y'all can attack me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't rock with that. But y'all come down below. Let me know, how y'all feel about octopuses? Y'all like them or y'all don't like them? I know some of y'all gonna say yeah, cause y'all like every animal out there apparently. But me, I just can't do it. But hit that like button, that sub button. Make sure somebody's gonna link down below in the description. Let me know what you see next on the channel. If you're ready to now. We out here.